where are the low value men? Like, what are all the low value men up to during these trying times? Because the high value men, I know they're around. They won't shut the fuck up. Low value men, I have not heard a word out of. I'm starting to think I'm on their side. I think I want one of those. I want a low value man. They don't make podcasts. I haven't seen one low value man make a podcast. Do they not know how to use microphones? Maybe that's a good thing. That's hot. All right, I've never seen a man use a microphone for good.
Until now, everybody buckle up. It's low value mail time with your host, Danny Polishchuk. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to an all-new episode of Low Value Mail. Doing a little something different this week. Hopefully people will start streaming in here, but we got a banger of an episode here only on Rumble this week. I think maybe on Kick too. I think it's on also Kick. I feel like I'm a million years old. I'm like, is it on Kick? I thought I set it up to stream on Kick. It doesn't look like it's streaming on Kick. Not important. We are on Rumble. We are on Rumble today. And we are joined by the incredible Sam Tripoli with us today on the show for episode 68. It's episode 68 of Low Value Mail on this June 27th, 2023. Yep, we are on Rumble this week because your boy got a little strike. I got a strike. I've been catching the ire of the folks over at YouTube. I don't know if I'm tempting fate or what, but I got a defamation notice on that one video of Low Value Mail, and then I posted what I thought was a pretty innocuous clip. I thought it was a pretty innocuous clip from an episode of The Bathhouse, posted on Thursday, and then instantly, within maybe 3 minutes, my channel gets a strike on YouTube. I appeal it because they said that we were talking about Ted Kaczynski, who had just died. So it's like, it's not that crazy to talk about somebody after they had just died. Seems pretty reasonable. Then I get a strike for that. I appeal it. And then they instantly just deny my appeal, saying that I was glorifying a violent extremist organization. Is what they were saying. So for today, we're on Rumble. We're trying out this Rumble thing. So far, I will say not good. Not good so far in terms of the amount of people who are watching the show versus normal. Hopefully we can get those numbers up. But yeah, normally for an episode like this, we would probably have a lot more people watching. Drop a comment if you're here. Got some housekeeping, then we're going to bring Sam the man on. So as I mentioned, we are joined this week by Sam Tripoli. Sam Tripoli is a hilarious comedian, podcaster. He hosts a Conspiracy Social Club with Brian Callen, Broken Simulation, a whole lot of others, and he's here with us today. So before anything, if you're listening to this on whatever podcasting app you listen to, just leave me a rating, review. It does help. And subscribe here on Rumble. I think going forward, I am going to move. I'm going to be moving the streams over to the Low Value Mail YouTube channel, that's specifically youtube.com/lowvaluemail. So if you want to go sign up for that, in my mind, I think that's probably the move to do, because the way I figure it is that if I get in trouble on that channel, if I get a strike, that's not the end of the world. Whereas like my personal channel, most of the followers come from sketches and stand-up and stuff. I don't get a lot of subscribers there from the live streams. And obviously now I'm getting in trouble from the live stream. So it seems like the move is to move the live streams over to the Low Value Mail channel. So that's probably what will happen going forward. I could have actually risked it tonight, theoretically, and just streamed on there. But then I ran the risk of them completely nuking my channel, because you're technically not allowed to do that. It's considered ban evasion. So anyways, next week we'll be back. We got new episode of The Bathhouse tomorrow, also on Rumble, although that'll honestly be kind of dependent on how this goes tonight. So, but we should be back tomorrow for The Bathhouse, 10:30 p.m. live from the green room. No low value mail next week, by the way, people, because it is 4th of July. So hang out with your family and whatnot. And just a couple things before we bring Sam on. So if you want to support the show, I guess the best way to do it at this point is just Patreon, or I was fucking around with it yesterday, but Twitter subscriptions. I have a private RSS feed set up on Twitter, and I know that I'm not going to get nuked off of Twitter, because the crazy thing is I've been working on the YouTube subscriptions for literally 6 months or almost a year now, and then because of my strike, I lose them all. All the subscriptions are gone, so that seems like that's a fucking waste of time. So I will not be doing that ever again. So anyways, you want to support the show, I would very much appreciate it. Patreon or Twitter. And then July 7th, catch me at Laugh It Up Poughkeepsie, headlining August 11th, 12th, Burlington, Ontario, Yuck Yucks. I will be in my hometown doing comedy. And without further ado, we are going to bring on Sam. Give me 1 second here. Ooh. There we go. Oh, hold on, Sam. Let's do unmute. There he is. Yo, what's up, Sam? How you doing? Can you hear me? We got the great.
I like it. Good to be in your apartment,
Tripoli in the house. I know. Let's see. Have you ever seen the Low Value Mail or the Low Value Man apartment? Like the guys. It's like
I call that living in Vegas. That's what my apartment used to look like when I lived in Vegas.
How old were you when you lived in Vegas?
Early 20s, dude.
Exactly.
Like college out there, dude. And then we would just watch Dazed and Confused days on end, just sitting there in Lazy Boys, smoking pot, watching Dazed and Confused.
I feel like that's more like a 20-year-old thing versus a Vegas thing. But yeah, that was, I think every 20-year-old basically has like an Xbox and a chair at some point.
Yeah, that's like every apartment I lived in Vegas. That was it. That's it right there.
You went to college in Vegas?
Yeah, I went to UNLV.
Oh, that's cool. Was that?
Yeah, because I thought it'd be a good place to start stand-up. Little did I know at that time it was the worst place to start stand-up. But
why
I was such a knucklehead. I was happy to go there, and so I could burn all the bridges there and not like burn them in anywhere where it would hurt my fucking career. Right.
You're from LA though originally?
No, I'm originally from upstate New York, outside. Syracuse.
Oh, you're from upstate New York. I don't know. I see you rocking LA stuff so much. I just always assume that.
I've been on the West Coast longer than I was on the East Coast.
Okay.
18 years in upstate, and then the rest on the West Coast. I'm old as fuck.
Yeah. So that's the move. You're just a West Coaster by whatever. It's just you live there now.
Decades.
By decades. Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you. Everybody definitely pumped to have you on the show.
Dude, you're so funny, bro.
Thanks,
you're so funny. You crush it on the internet.
Dude, I appreciate Dude, thank you, man.
You're one of my favorites.
I got a fucking strike last week. I don't know if you saw. We're on Rumble today.
Welcome to the club, bro. I'm hearing you talking. I'm hearing Tim Dillon talking. I'm like, welcome to the club.
Yeah, dude. You've been dealing with this shit for forever, huh?
Bro, I had a show way back in the day, back when YouTube was like really, really like outlaw. I had a show called The Naughty Show. And dude, we were getting hundreds of thousands of views in our video, and they didn't even give me strikes. They're like, gone. And it was all like dirty sketches and stuff like that, which is like par for the course now on half of these YouTube channels. So yeah, I lost that channel. Then they just struck me down. I was getting like 150,000 views on some of my tinfoil hats, and they're just like, one more strike, you lose your whole channel. And when you do stand-up, you kind of want to be able to put clips on YouTube because it's Main Street, but even that is shadow banned at this point. I don't know what they're doing over there because they're losing all this revenue. When they take people like you and Tim Dillon and they don't allow you guys to reach a big big audience, it hurts their bottom line too because they can't sell ads.
Yeah, I honestly don't know with them because they're owned by Google, and like part of me wonders where they're just like they don't even give a shit. They're just like they're just doing whatever they want. Google's printing the money.
They're
and
part
others.
of the government, man. They're part.
I mean, kind of at this point. Like part of
their seed money came from CIA.
Well, we could get into this because you're kind of OG conspiracy dude. So you've been in the conspiracy game for
a long time.
Long time.
The podcast is 7 years old, but like I've been conspiracy theorist since the
You were just
jump.
like-
My dad raised me paranoid as fuck.
Listen to Coast
First
to Coast.
conspiracy, Santa Claus. Second conspiracy is the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan getting caught in a truck drunk together. And that's when I'm like, oh, this shit's all a lie, bro.
They got a DUI together.
Oh yeah, it was so big at the time. I was like, oh, dude, you guys, what? You two hate each other. Now you're drunk in a car together. My world was just fucked.
That was probably like
bro.
the late 80s, kind of 90s.
Yeah, back when it was less homoerotic.
Yeah, and there was like there's no internet at the time. So like I legitimately, when I was like a kid, I thought the Undertaker worked at a funeral home. Like
yeah,
I legit,
right?
I'm just like, that's what I thought. I don't know. I thought he was
the acting was just way better back then, and everything was like a racial stereotype. Like there was no hiding it. Like Ricky the Steamboat, the Dragon Steamboat, like could not be more Asian. Iron Sheik was a terrorist. It was great, dude. I used to love it, bro. And then you watch those old clips of like the Ultimate Warrior, and there was always this rumor that they discovered him doing gay porn. Did you ever hear that rumor?
No.
That the Ultimate Warrior done gay porn, and it was like if you go back and you watch like Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior, dude, you can feel the electricity in that. So it used to be great. I miss it.
Yeah, that was the good old days. Did you see? I mean, there's a good probably point to start off with, but did you see the Epstein report today?
Was it about which
they just came out today and they go like he killed himself. Like the Department of Justice goes, hey, like we investigated, he killed himself.
It's total bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit, and it's layers upon layers upon layers. And you know why everybody's staring at a sub going down? JP Morgan is like paying out like $400 million to like all these victims. The lady who's been like, I don't know if you watch any of the C-SPAN stuff when they're doing
C-SPAN's out of my wheelhouse.
Oh, it's not in there. What's hooked up to that television behind you? Just like a Nintendo Xbox? That's all it is?
I mean, it is an Xbox, but it's also just like it's not real.
Dude, how much DNA is on that chair behind you?
It's unfortunately it's somebody else's, but I don't know. Probably a lot.
But the I believe it's the Virgin Islands, the woman from the Virgin Islands, which is she's hot. I think she's hot. But she's like going after the whistleblowers. Turns out she was basically on Epstein's whole fucking payroll, you know? So it's like she was getting donations from him. So it's a very deep rabbit hole. And what's very interesting is like everyone always still gives me shit. Oh, you believe in Pizzagate still? I go, bro, Epstein is Pizzagate. It's the same thing. It's the same people. It's all, and it's just like, it's kind of crazy where everyone just thinks I'm a crazy person. I get it because I am a crazy person. I have 7 podcasts. Yeah. I get I'm a whack job. But at least just be like, hey, dude, you were right. We're not going to give you any credit for it, but just, off the record, you got all this shit right.
Have you ever gone to the Comet Ping Pong restaurant?
No, a couple of my friends did. I never did. They were just going to go check it out to see how weird it got. But that whole thing is weird, too. If you ever look into that, then cameras get turned off everywhere. The guy, have you ever looked into the shooter that shot up that place?
Yeah, the guy who was like out front with the rifle.
His father works with Hillary Clinton.
Really?
In this like Habitat for Haiti kids thing. So it's like and then he'd just gotten like in some weird kind of car crash where somebody supposedly died. It's all weird, bro. And the only thing he shot was the computer.
He came into the restaurant and he just shot the computer?
The computer's the only thing that got shot.
Whatever happened to him? Do you ever follow up on these to just wonder like where's that guy at? Like how many years did they give him?
I think he got like 3. But it's just bad. Even then I wonder if they even do any of this time. Do we ever hear from them and where they go and whatever that is. Like we hear the story and then everybody moves on. I don't
Yeah.
even know if they really do any of this time. But it's interesting.
I mean, it
though.
was
It's
funny
like,
with the sub where there was like instantly when the sub was shit was going down and all these people were like, yeah, don't you get it? They're like these billionaires or like if they just I did think though that is an amazing way to like if you kind of just want to start over, you like die unrecoverable in this like sub and then you're just like you're good.
in the 1800s, bro, they used to famous people be like, "Oh yeah, I'm dead," and then they would just start new lives and move on. It happened all the time back
Dude,
then.
that's oh man. But I think people were like, oh, they're gonna avoid like paying all these taxes. They have like these huge billionaires, huge tax bills. They spend $250,000, go down there
Crazy,
and just like,
dude. They go down there, start a new life. Then there was a famous actress whose like husband disappeared, and then somebody found him in some fishing village in Mexico. And he's like, "Don't come and find me. I'm good." He just had to fake his own death, dude. Sometimes I'm like, man, life is chaos. Should I just fake my own
dude,
death?
faking your own death is legit. Yeah, like just to full fresh slate. They make it real hard now though with like ID and all that stuff. But like back in the day where you're like, yeah, I don't have any idea.
Just
and
start
nobody
over.
and you're like nobody does.
Be named Roberto.
And like you only have to go really like a town. You have to go one town over.
One town over. You don't even have to go to Mexico.
No, you don't have to go to a different country. You just have to go literally one town. So you're on YouTube and stuff. You haven't been.
Well, when they started giving me all the strikes, I was like, if I get kicked off here, I'm going to have no presence on YouTube and I'm going to be even more like just forgotten than I already am. So I took off all the tinfoil hats and now I only put Broken Sim on there. Yeah. And then I have a comedy channel that I haven't really uploaded anything to that either because my comedy's never going to fly on YouTube. I think I'm going to shoot a special, just put it out on Rumble and then cut it up and see what happens on Instagram. It's like crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I was getting 5,000. I was getting 5 million views in 30 days on Instagram. And then somebody goes, oh yeah, we don't like this guy. Boom. And they just bang, they shut me down. And I know they're fucking with me because I'll have a video get no likes, no views, no nothing. They'll be like, this video is doing better than 90% of your other videos.
Oh, really?
Like, but it's not really.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, oh, you have 40 comments. You go there, there's only 10. They do it to me all the time. The time.
Yeah, that's fucking. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I had, you know who Johnny Vedmore is? You ever heard of him?
I've heard of him. Yeah.
He's anyways, he's like this historian who's like investigated Klaus Schwab and all that stuff. So last week I got a defamation claim on my YouTube channel from Klaus Schwab. Like, and the World Economic Forum, like a literal like defamation warning on this episode. And they said that this episode can no longer be played in 5 countries. Like, so on YouTube in these 5 countries, you cannot access this video, right?
Dude, that's crazy. I got a tweet I want to go back to that. But
yeah.
I on Twitter, I had a tweet that said, this tweet is banned in Germany. Yeah. We cannot show this tweet in Germany. I'm like, I've never even been to Germany. I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I guess Germany has their own rules where you can basically like Twitter has to like abide by Germany's rules, even if it's not
so crazy
in Germany. I don't know what the deal because I think I heard that Rumble was like not in France or whatever. But anyways, there's 5 European countries, and it says it's like from Klaus Schwab and the world like. Basically saying that, but anyways, and then last week,
dude, that would be so cool if Klaus Schwab followed you and then you just said one thing that pissed him off. He's like, this like guy done he's so funny. His stuff is so. What is this, Klaus Schwab? Fuck this guy. And then dude, that is so crazy that Klaus Schwab just dinged you, dude.
Dude, he got me. He legit fucking just dinged me. And then, but that was the thing. And I was like, oh shit, I'm kind of on the radar. And then last week I had Isaac Weishaupt on the show. Who I think you know.
He's the best.
Yeah. So he was on my show and I was kind of joking around that I was like, yeah, you know, cause I'd been ducking these strikes and I'm like, I ain't going to get a strike. And then I literally just like put up a clip from a different podcast. We were talking about Ted Kaczynski comedy, like a comedy podcast, like literally nothing. And then instantly get a strike for what was it? Glorifying violent terrorist organizations or some shit or whatever. So
I had Etsy take down a Unabomber shirt. I had a
Really?
Unabomber shirt, and Etsy took it down.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like Etsy. I don't even fucking know what Etsy is, but it took it down.
But they took,
And it's
but they did take it down. Yeah.
well, if I was you, man, I would figure out like you got your thing with Ryan. You guys are crushing that. I would keep that on YouTube and then try to figure out somewhere else to put the more edgy stuff.
Well, I'm gonna
because
put
you
it
don't
on
wanna
a.
lose-
I'm gonna put it on a second. I've already decided. I'm gonna put it on my like clips channel. I'm gonna start, even though it's never the actual. That's the thing. Is like, so the full episode that contained that clip was fine. That didn't get flagged. It was the once I clipped it and like made it like, you know, like a real style clip.
There's no rules, dude.
No. Do you think it has to do with the election coming up? Because that's how a lot of people have been
100%.
speculating, like with
Yeah.
Tim Dillon and like all the people who are starting to get the screws tightened on them.
Yeah, 100%. They don't want anything to get out because they've lost the message. But it's just crazy because they're losing so much money. Like their revenue is totally down. So like as soon as Rogan left, man, they would be putting like 30 ads on any of my videos. Every 2 seconds there'd be a new like YouTube ad on my thing because they're trying to make up for all the revenue they lost.
Yeah.
But it's like we're living in this kind of time where I call it anti-business business. You know, it's like where all these companies are doing all this stuff that's not good for their business, but they just keep doing it, and it doesn't make any sense, you know? So like YouTube, what built YouTube was the conspiracy content. People went there to see like all the 9/11 docs and all that shit, and then all of a sudden now they're getting rid of all that stuff. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, dude. If I was you, I'd just keep your comedy stuff on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Bring your edgier shit to Rumble or even like I'm on.
I'm just gonna put it
Rockfin.
on a different, or Rockfin. I'm just gonna put it on a different channel because the thing is like,
Yeah, but here's the thing, dude. It
Yeah.
even tells you if you get deleted, your channel gets deleted. They don't want you posting anywhere. So that's
Yeah.
why I pulled all my content off. Because again, if you're a comic and you can't post to YouTube, you're done.
yeah.
You're done.
Yeah,
So
no,
you gotta
I'm
maintain
I'm aware of that. That's why. Well, the thing is, you still get a strike, right? Like, I can't imagine posting anything where they're like not even going to give me a strike. They're just going to remove my channel. And like, if I get demonetized, like getting demonetized is one thing, but like to legit just lose access to YouTube, fucking stinks.
It sucks, bro, because
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, like I see some of these. I want everyone to do well. I don't care. I want everybody to do well. But man, you see some of these people that are getting like 300,000 views, 500,000 views, and you're like, I'm scraping out to get like 15,000. Even on my show, when it starts doing well, they're like, oh yeah, we remember you. Nope.
Yeah.
Shadow ban me back to hell.
Yeah.
And I'm even playing by the rules.
Right. Dude, the crazy thing with the YouTube thing is that because, like, you know, I appealed it and I get an instant, like, someone in fucking overseas, like, denies my appeal. But then on Twitter, we got Team YouTube's, like, their attention and they're like, we're going to manually review this. And they manually reviewed it and they're still like, yeah, you can't do that. We're still gonna uphold
Unbelievable.
that.
Klaus
That's insane.
Schwab, dude. Have you ever studied that guy?
Yeah, well, Johnny Vedmore, you should have him on your show, man. He's like a fucking expert on that guy. It's I think
You
he's
ever hear about his dad?
Yeah, that's what got us in trouble. Is that we were talking all about his dad and how his dad was like basically working with the Nazis and all this stuff.
Yeah, New Schwabenland, dog.
Yeah, dude, you should have fucking Johnny Vedmore.
It's nuts,
on.
bro.
Yeah, he's like an expert in all this shit.
The missing 411, all that shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So we're gonna open the phone lines in like probably 10 or so minutes. For those people who are watching, 1-888-949-2969, but not at the moment. But so I want to know what kind of, because I'm not gonna lie, I've always been into conspiracies, but I've never been like super into conspiracies. So I'm learning a ton more about
I love it.
new ones as this show's kind of been like progressing, because the show actually didn't start as a conspiracy show. It just kind of came a conspiracy show because that was just like the most interesting stuff that kind of I guess was piquing my interest. But like, so what are the conspiracies that you're kind of like into right now? Like that you.
Well, real quick, and then I'll answer this.
Yeah.
I don't know how everyone isn't a conspiracy theorist after
Right
the
now,
last
for sure.
6-7 years. Like, what has happened for you to go? Okay, maybe people are conspiring.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Just
I mean
that at the basics
for sure.
It's just like maybe people are conspiring, and that's all you need to do to go from there. So my favorite conspiracy right now is the Challenger.
Okay, yeah.
Have you heard
ship,
this
yeah,
one?
the one that exploded?
Yeah. So the Challenger, the whole notion is that those astronauts are still alive. And if you look it up, there are people who look exactly like them with the exact same names. All of them, except for one guy. They're all there. So people go, come on, man. Come on, that's crazy. So let's go back to Kennedy. There's something called Operation Northwoods. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
So Operation Northwoods is basically that the CIA wanted to create a false flag event, okay? And what they were going to do, they were going to do this big thing where they're going to say that these college kids were going to go on a trip to a music festival in Cuba. And then they were going to do all this press. The press is going to talk about all these kids are all going to go. It's amazing. They're great players. Oh, it's such a blessing. They're going to, make it to Cuba and be in this amazing festival. And then they were going to do a big launch. Hey, we're leaving. Getting on this plane. The plane was going to take off. They wanted to land it, then have another plane go up, explode it, and then blame it on Cuba, okay? This made it all the way to JFK's desk. And the only reason it didn't happen at that moment is because JFK vetoed it. He said no. So if you study the framework of Operation Northwoods, and then you study the Challenger explosion, it is beat for beat for beat Operation Northwood. It is the exact same story in that you had this teacher and all these people were going to go on the Challenger. They do a whole press tour. Hey, I'm so excited about going into space. It's going to be amazing. All this press leading up. They go there. Everybody's watching. It goes up in the air and explodes, and now everybody's traumatized. So that's my favorite one.
I have a friend of mine. He's a comic, and his name is Monty. He has a bit about like when he was in elementary school.
Oh yeah,
and they're like everybody was like in a thing like watching it, and then it just explodes, and like all he's like
trauma.
All these kids have to all get sent home for the day. They have to like cancel school that day, and it was like
trauma.
That was and Dude, what do you remember? And what do you think the reason for that is, I guess? Because a lot of times people have conspiracies, but you're like, or theories, that is. But what do you think the reason behind it?
One is trauma. It's all about inducing trauma on a large level. False flag attacks, which raise anxiety, and these lizards they feed off our anxiety. Next thing is to increase the budget of NASA, which is just a giant money laundering scheme. That's all it is. Money laundering $50 million a day. That's all it is. They're just money laundering. And so you get to up the budget after everyone's emotional. Once you get people emotional, they'll agree to anything. Yeah. That's what all these false flag attacks are about. So that's so that was all about that.
That is very true. It's like if you can get people's emotions whipped up, like you can
they'll agree to anything. They'll even agree to stuff that isn't in their best interest.
Yeah, you saw a lot of that with a lot of things that have happened. So you're talking about JFK, so you must have some thoughts on RFK. Surely, you must
about the RFK Jr.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely hilarious. Everyone's this label. You just see that when they don't want to actually talk about what he's talking about, they label you a name. Like there's a lot of times I'll do like comedy shows and they'll put a flyer up and you'll just see people. I now get labeled anti-vaxxers of Instagram, and I just thank them. Thank you. Or, oh, he's a conspiracy theorist. So that's what they do. They label you a name so the average person runs from that because they don't want to be associated with that. But I mean, people don't understand about RFK. Like, he's an incredible lawyer. Like, he literally took it to Monsanto's, bro. He like lit.
Dude, he's like an environment. He's like a classic like environmentalist too.
It's unbelievable.
Like you're from upstate New York or whatever, so it's like probably not that. But like the Hudson, cleaned like the Hudson was like on fire when he was
and he cleaned it all up.
Completely cleaned it up, and like he's just like an old school environmentalist, I guess. But
so I am 100% behind what he says. I don't trust anybody running for president. So I look at everybody in kind of karate stance, dog. Yeah. Like, okay, what's your thing? How are you going to fuck me over? But I like what he's saying. To be honest with you, that Joe Rogan interview, and Joe's a very brave man for doing it, is I think it had like kind of the same impact of when Jeffrey Epstein got murdered. You know, like how people kind of for like 18 hours they were like, "Whoa, dude, something just happened," and then you just saw the media just walking it back. Come on, there's no conspiracy. He killed himself. You know, the cameras weren't working, and you can see this all the time where like there's this high impact event, and all of a sudden none of the cameras work. Every time the cameras conveniently get turned off. Happens all the time.
You should read if you get a chance, read the articles from the Department of Justice that they put out today about the Epstein stuff, because they basically like explain how everything happened. And they go, look, they're like, so everybody who was working there was super tired. They're like, they've just been working so hard, all the guards. So they're like, the guards were so tired. That's why they never went and checked on him, even though they were supposed to be checking on him, like the most high profile prisoner in their whole jail. And they're like, they just were so tired that they weren't checking on him. And then they're like, yeah, the cameras had some like malfunction that like they've known about for a while, but they just never got around to fixing. He's like, but so none of them were recording that day. And you're just like, and I guess, you know what, if you're the Department of Justice, you're like, look, part of our deal is they're like, we have to put this out, right? Like we have to put out a thing one way or another about Epstein, saying like, either he did not kill himself, and which obviously they wouldn't do, or they're like, he killed himself and this is what happened. But you're just like,
well, you know, the prophet, I call him the prophet Eddie Bravo. He always talks about how the most corrupt person out there is the coroner. Like you buy the coroner off, you can get that death labeled whatever you want. So no matter what happens to these people, it always gets labeled a suicide. So like, and half of that is like to let people know, like, dude, we'll off you and nothing will happen to us because the coroner's in our pocket and he'll just label it a suicide. And so now you have like a Clinton colleague who is like hangs himself, 2 shots of shotgun blast to his chest. They're like, dude, just suicided himself.
that was I never really like I heard Tucker Carlson was on the Full Send podcast, like the Nelk Boys, if you know them, and he was basically talking about Epstein. He's like, I mean, it is crazy where, you know, no matter how powerful any powerful person is, for the most part, you're like, if someone's in jail and is like going to testify against you, generally, like that's the point where, like, regardless of how powerful you are, you're not getting to them. Like, even if you are so powerful.
Well, for me, dude, it's like if you actually listen to and you read what like Epstein before he died, like that guy was like, I'm getting out of here, dude. He was running the place. His lawyer was hanging out with him in his freaking cell, and he had a chick in there. Yeah. Like, dude, the guy was running the place. He's like raiding the junk food vendor machine. Like, dude, this guy had no intentions of offing himself, and he totally did it. And people are like, the Clintons got to him. I don't think the Clintons got to him. I think it was higher up.
Oh, there's a long list of people who probably.
I think the Queen got to him.
So, like something in that level, but that's the thing is like, once you're in his position where you're like in the jail in Manhattan, that high profile thing, like to actually go get that person killed because they're inconvenient to you, like that's a handful of people who probably can pull that off.
Yeah, you have the Clintons have what, 65 friends and associates commit suicide? 65?
Something in that. It's up there.
It's like, how do you do that? Like, how miserable are you as a person that 67 or 65 of your friends want to off themselves? I mean, like, what are you doing in life? So it's kind of crazy, man. But the whole thing is like, so much of this also is just like to just jack your what they call loose, your spirit energy to like get you.
That's like, what human vibrations. I was just gonna bring that up. I had her on.
You had the human vibration on, bro. Kudos to you, dog. That chick goes deep, bro. I discovered her.
Yeah, I know that. You discovered her.
She had like 5 followers. I'm like, what are you saying about John Bonet? You had the human vibration.
I had a human. Yeah, dude. That was a wild episode. But she was the one who's staying with the coroner. How with the coroner and John Bonet, how like I can't remember exactly what it is, but there was some crazy thing she was saying, but she was saying all sorts of stuff.
Dude, if you look at all of these like school shootings, the coroner's always fucking crazy, dude. Always saying crazy shit that doesn't make any sense. Not letting anybody see their kids. All this, that just nobody's following protocol. That's how you do it. You rig it at the coroner level.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna open the phone lines. If anybody wants to call in and talk, have any questions for Sam, 1-888-949-2969. Sam, just one thing for you to know is when people call in, when I connect them, there'll be like a 5-second period where you won't be able to hear us. Just we're connecting the calls, but don't sweat it.
Hello.
Everybody's gonna be we're gonna have a good time. But so what you got coming up next in the conspiracy world? You got.
Well, what do you mean, like in terms?
Not
of
coming
like,
up next, but like what kind of things are you like?
Okay, here's my new conspiracy that I'm really into. That the
next to the Challenger one, I guess.
Okay, so the thing is that, you know, it's like everything gets weaponized. Like the civil rights movement gets weaponized into BLM, right? And that's not the same thing, but they want you to believe it is. So the same thing with like homosexuality. Like I have no problems if someone's gay. Do whatever you want. I don't care as long as you're not hurting anyone, particularly children. You'll never hear. I'm never going to have the government tell you what you can or cannot do. But queer theory, right? That's a whole totally different discussion. But all that stuff's about to go away, right? So, and you already see what Starbucks saying they're getting rid of all the pride stuff. You're slowly seeing them walk it back.
Yeah.
Well, I had this woman on called Mel K. She's a friend of mine. And she was telling me that she's got people talking to her and that the next big thing, which will be the next like Antifa riots, will be illegal immigrants complaining about they've been lied to and they're going to start rioting, right? So, which is like super interesting. So then I started remembering that you have these governors, everyone's like, they're Republican governors, they're nationalists, they care. And then you got people, like DeSantis and Abbott, and what are they doing? They're moving, they're sending immigrants to all these cities. And you're like,
I'm in New York. And like there's this guy on Twitter who like kind of follows it, and he's just been following the whole thing. And like all these hotels are like, I mean, even in my neighborhood, I live in Brooklyn, and one day, like this was probably like a month ago, all over every windshield was like a piece of paper, and someone in the area was like, hey, like my kids the school is now like they're getting rid of after school programs because like all these like basically migrants are coming here, and they like, you know, they're trying to help them. Like it's not like some malevolent thing. They're just like, we're trying to help them get like acclimatized, but we need these school gyms and stuff. And these people are like, we didn't get told about any of this shit. Why are they like, you know, it's a whole thing.
So the question is, why are the Florida governor and the Texas governor sending immigrants everywhere? Is it to make a political statement, or is he moving assets around? And you know, that's a big reason why DeSantis is trailing, because the right's like, bro, you got all these dark figures behind you, basically funding your campaign. So if you go, okay, they're globalists, right? Sounds like they're moving assets around, dog. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it's like, it makes sense when you start talking about it. Yeah. Why are everyone's cheering on? It's like, yeah, he's showing the governor of New York, the governor of Michigan, the governor of this liberal you like immigrants? Here are some, but maybe he's moving assets around. Because, you know, we're in the middle of the Bolshevik revolution in America. People need to study that. And because we're in that right now. Everything that happened to Russia, they're doing to us. The problem is that the internet lets us see it. So study your history. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. And when you say assets in reference to this, so what do you like? Do you think it's going to be a protest? Like, is there
no, it's going to be the theory is that the next phase right around the election will be illegal immigrants rioting.
They'll be rioting. And then what? We're not going to be able to. Like,
well, they're going to do the same thing BLM did, which lets it happen so nobody goes and votes.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, we got to call.
Like, I'm just going to mail in my vote, and then it's just, you know, it's the same thing over and over again.
All right, 1 second here, Sam. We got a call. One moment, please. Hello. Hey, 1 second while I patch you through to Sam. Who am I speaking with?
This is Josh.
Josh. All right, Josh, you are on with Sam. Josh, go ahead.
What's up? Hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Hey, Sam, I want to say you killed it when you were here in Arizona.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Greatly appreciate it.
So my question is, I don't know if I've heard you talk about this on Tinfoil Hat or not, but you know the whole thing where like they swapped out the Titanic with a different ship to kill all the bankers
Olympic.
and they're making Federal Reserve?
The Olympic, yeah. 100%.
Yeah,
we talked
yeah,
about
yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, 100%, dude.
So what's your take? You just think that happened? Like, what were the details? Because I only know a little bit about it.
So basically what happened was that the Titanic, the ship that went down was actually the Olympic, and it was already hurt before it
was the older ship, right?
It was the other ship, and they had already done damage to it. So it was already taking on water as it was going on. So as it was leaving, and then all the people from Jekyll Island that had come together to create the Federal Reserve, okay, they all decided to decline that day. Oh, we can't make it. All of them, none of them showed up, and that's why it went down, because all the people who were against the Federal Reserve were on that boat. Now this boat is like supposed to be one of the greatest boats ever made, and it just didn't see an iceberg coming. Are you fucking nuts, bro? Are you nuts? Are you nuts?
You want to know
crazy,
a funny story? I was at a concert at Citi Field last week, and we were waiting for the show to start, and I was there with another comic and some guy in front of us. Because, dude, everybody was so obsessed with the submarine. Like, me and this comic, we were talking about the submarine, and literally people would come over to us because they overheard us, because everybody just wanted to talk about the submarine. And I was kind of like half in the bag at this point. And the guy's like, who we're talking to is like, yeah, he's like, I've read all these books about the Titanic. I'm like, I love the Titanic so much. And I've read all these things. And then I was like, yeah, I'm like, have you ever heard how they swapped the boat? And the guy, he looked at me like I was such a lunatic. And sometimes I have to remember where you're like, when you're in public, can't just bring up any conspiracy theory to people, because they're like, the guy looked at me like I was fucking psychotic. I remember, and I was like, oh shit, fuck, okay, yeah, and just forget it.
All history is a lie, bro. It's all a lie.
Yeah.
Including this.
Yeah,
this is a giant
I don't
lie.
filter myself in public. I still go. Everyone thinks I'm crazy at work because when we talk about the anniversary of the moon landing, I'm like, that never happened.
100%. You know what's so funny? No one believes in the firmament, but everybody believes in the Van Allen belt. Isn't that hilarious? They're like, yeah, it's this thing we can't get through. Oh, is it the firmament? No, dumb flat earther. It's a Van Allen belt. This is all they do, dude. They take everything and they just flip it. So it doesn't, so you don't know if you're coming or going. That's what, so when you start watching this shit, with the Black Mermaid, right? By itself, that means nothing. It really doesn't mean anything. It's a fictional character. But when you put it together with everything that they're flipping, this is done on purpose so that your grandparents and you can't pass down knowledge to your children. This is what it's all about. This is cultural Marxism. They don't want the kids to have any kind of running start. And I don't listen, man. It sounds nuts, and it just sounds like this. And I'm a crazy guy yelling, but this really is it's demoralization. Why they teach all their kids, all the rich, the elites, teach all their kids all the secrets of the universe, man. It's all done on purpose, so you and the next generation don't have the same information.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And then, there is an odd way of someone made a good point with the whole Bud Light, because how Modelo is doing so well, and because they just want to basically appreciate exceptionalism, American exceptionalism, and they'll just it's a good, they're telling a story, and all the Bud Light was essentially just here's the thing that's going on, and people are like, we don't give a shit.
But it gets even deeper than that. It's all ESG. Everything is ESG. And it's just BlackRock now is coming back, trying to walk back ESG because they've been busted for, I had a discussion with somebody today. I have a podcast called Cash Daddies with Howie Dewey and Juicy Johnny. Okay. And we were discussing how can you lose money in your stock, but yet your stock is at Bud Light sales plummeted by 25%, but their stock is huge. How is that possible? Well, there's always been a discussion that just the stocks are just a giant Ponzi scheme. So you do this ESG score thing and you try to get this high ESG score. So BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street and like one more come and buys up all your stock. And now your stock is high, even though nobody's buying your product. And this is what I'm saying. It's like this anti-business business. All this woke shit, none of it is like natural. It's all being funded by these couple of crazy ass investment firms. And like BlackRock is even crazier because BlackRock, basically their software runs the Fed. So if you look who's running the software that runs the Fed is BlackRock software. So you have all these companies that are trying to do business with BlackRock doing this woke shit, hurting their bottom line, but they don't care because they're getting money from fucking BlackRock. Now BlackRock does starts to see a loss in revenue. All they do is another bailout because they won't run the fucking Fed. They just bail it out and clean up their books. That's all they're gonna do with Disney is they're just gonna clean up their books with this fucking bailout that will be coming sooner than later.
Yeah, and generally with a lot of those like BlackRock's, Goldman Sachs, is like people who leave those companies, they go work for the government.
Another one. They just start another firm, and
but they'll be the ones who go work for like the Federal Reserve or whatever, like shit like that. So it's always like their friends who are kind of working, hand in hand with them.
Here's the thing that when I deal with people in public, and they're like, "Well, what do you think about this?" I go, "Well, what do you think about it?" And then we work from there. Because I'm done trying. It's like the prophet Eddie Bravo has said many times. If you don't get it by now, I can't save you. And right now, you're just stubborn. It's all because they turn us into emotional monkeys. Like, if you're still playing politics, R's and D's, it's like unbelievable to me that you could not see that some people are conspiring. And, I got a shirt I sell in tinfoil hat t-shirts called "It's All George Bush Death Call," because that's what it is. If you watch that 92 fucking election, that debate between Bill Clinton, George Bush, and Ross Perot, it's pro wrestling. The only one who's actually trying to win the debate is Ross Perot.
Yeah.
He's the only one not in it. Those guys have been selling coke together in fucking Arkansas. And if you actually watch the debate, bro, dude, the guy who does the worst is Bill Clinton. Yeah. He's like a deer in a headlight. Everybody else, you got a fucking, a Nazi, a gay Nazi in George Bush. And then you had Ross Perot who destroyed that debate. He destroyed it and he lost. It was all rigged.
Dude, remember how they used to clown him on SNL, Ross Perot?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's so funny because back then, and I'm much older than you, Danny. I'm 50, right? And like all the liberals my age, which I'm an old school liberal, but most of them are now progressives, and they just can't come to grips with it. The DNC does not represent their values anymore. So they just defend this. So it's like back then when this debate was happening, the lines between Democrat and Republican were very set. And if you were a liberal, you're like, oh, dude, Bill Clinton is he's a super liberal. He loves everybody. He was the first black president. You remember them? That was a big thing.
Of course, yeah. They was
right? Because he went hogging, right? Because that, he fucks fat white chicks. He's our first black president, right? So that was easy to know who was which side. But now, after Hillary Clinton just set everything on fire in 2015, the lines are blurred.
Yeah.
The lines. So, like, this is not a pro-Trump rant because I think Trump is a crime boss.
Oh, dude, the shit that recording that just came out, I'm just like, oh my God, dude. I don't know.
I didn't even hear it. What did he say?
Oh, hold on, Josh. Do you have anything else? I'm gonna let you go, man.
Yeah. One more thing,
okay.
and then I'll go. Sam, you said he was brave for having human vibrations on. He just had Dave Weiss on.
Dave Weiss is great too. I love that you do a conspiracy podcast. I didn't know that, Danny. We gotta get you on Tim Fall.
Yeah.
Was conspiracy.
I've had.
What did the tape say?
The tape. Okay, I'm gonna let you go, Josh. Thanks for calling. The tape said basically he's talking about how he's anti-war. Like he's trying to make a point where he's like, I'm not some crazy war hawk. He's talking to some chick. And he's like, I'm not some crazy war hawk. And he goes, see? And then he pulls out some document. He goes, see? He's like, look, I got these. Like, it's crazy. I got these documents right here. He's like, from General Milley or whatever. And he's like, it's very secretive. I probably shouldn't be showing you. And he goes, the funny thing is, like, when I was the president, I could just declassify this. I can't now. But when I was dude, it's like a smoking gun. You're just like, oh my God. It was insane. Anyways, we got another caller. 1 second, please. Oh, sorry. Oh, hello. Hello.
Hey, Danny.
Hey, what's up? Yo.
This is the Goob.
The Goob, 1 second, please. Goob, all right, you are on with Sam. Sorry about that, Sam. Sam, you were on with...
So, first of all, Danny, I just wanted to say, don't be afraid of schizo rambling to strangers.
I'm not. Well,
like
you know what it was? I was kind of drunk, and then I'm like at this concert, and then I just saw the look on this guy's face, and I go, oh, yeah, sometimes you got to just maybe keep some things to yourself.
So, Sam... you were talking about how all of history is a lie, and you're talking about, the economy bullshit. I don't know if you take things quite as far as I do, but I'm actually convinced that we currently, at least in America, live in a post-wealth economy, and they've obfuscated things so much that people are, unaware of this fact.
So explain to me post-wealth.
Right. So essentially Star Trek, You go, no one has money. You just go up to the machine, beep, bop, boop, and you get your clothes or your food. And in Star Trek, I've never actually watched Star Trek, so I assume what I'm saying is true. You still have essentially rich and powerful people, even though there's not money. And so that's what it is today, is we are so entirely separated from reality that no one knows anything about what goes into the life around them. I mean, you don't know how to make your car. You don't know how to make anything at all. Yeah, and it's impossible to know how to make anything.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely get behind that, dude. I mean, you just see everybody going on. It's like, it's so crazy, because like you get into this discussion about, I love capitalism, and they're always like pure form this, pure form that. But it's like in the pure form, I love capitalism. But what we have right now is crony capitalism, and people don't realize that. And what we do to other people, other countries, is just fucking wrong. Now, that doesn't mean I hate my country. I love my country, but I'm for people, man. So it's very interesting. Like, they're moving us to digital. That's interesting. And then there's nothing tangible. That's why I like to buy gold, but who knows what that's going to be. Like, I buy a lot of gold. I hold on to gold, and I'm buying silver. I'm holding on to that. And that's kind of what I do right now. That's how I'm investing.
Just load it up. You're not a crypto guy?
I do have crypto, but I got so fucked by Celsius, bro. I have so much in Celsius.
Dude, I had a fucking FTX account.
Oh my God, dude. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow. That's
gone.
that's crazy.
And now they're talking about how the banking's going to collapse. I'm like, what's going to happen to my money there? I'm like, God damn, bro, I work hard for this shit. And these lizards are going to keep jacking my swag, bro. Yeah, dude. I'm down with that. It's like, I have 2 kids now, and I'm just like, I got to teach them skills, man. Yeah. I got to teach them skills on how to do stuff. They don't want to listen to
reality again.
That's what I'm trying to do. Teach them basic things to survive. My parents did a great job, but there's little things that I don't know how to do that I wish I did know how to do. And it's time to sit them down and teach them these things. Yeah, for sure.
I'm in a
Bugman competition.
Well, I'm in a currently adversarial relationship with YouTube, but I was going to say that YouTube is fucking amazing when you don't know how to do something and you need to figure it out.
I think it's great, bro.
Holy shit. It's just like the world's like an encyclopedia of how to do shit.
I have a buddy of mine who became a handyman just based off YouTube videos. That's how he started fixing stuff for people.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I have like all the time I'll have something where I don't know how to do whatever, and you just go on YouTube and you're like, 2 minutes, and you're like, oh, that wasn't that hard. I actually, an ex of mine, she used to work at this bar. This guy who was just like a regular at the bar when YouTube first started. This guy was like a genius for what he did, but he started making all these videos of like how to, like literally how to hard boil an egg, how to use a screwdriver, like the most basic shit in the world. But so many people searched that shit that the guy became like a millionaire.
I think that's great, bro. Yeah. I want to start. I can't cook. I'm a shitty cook.
Dude, you can learn everything. You could learn how to do anything in the kitchen.
I think I'm going to do that, man. I think I'm going to set up a cooking
That'll be
show
podcast number 8.
Number 8, yeah.
Yeah.
I had an 8th one, but it dropped off. I was
okay.
watching street fight videos, but you can't put it up anywhere. Nobody will let you do that. It's so weird.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, but like a part of me that makes me less bummed about all this stuff with YouTube is I think Twitter might step in and actually be a good.
I hope he does it, bro. He just has to figure out how to keep it so your video stays there to see and it doesn't get lost in.
They have that on the mobile app. They just don't have it on the desktop, so it like can't be that hard to do. Like the mobile app has picture in picture. It just needs like a few things, and then because like, dude, they were like the OG for live streaming. Like, remember they used to have what was it called?
Yeah, Brody used to do it all the time. What was it called? The guy just hung up us.
Oh, did he? Oh, did we lose him? All right, whatever. The Goob's cool. He calls in all the time. Phone lines are open, everybody. 1-888-949-2969. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called for
Periscope,
right? Like they were like the originators with live streaming.
But didn't they also have Vine?
Yeah, they had Vine. Vine was its own company that I believe they bought and then just fucking tossed in the trash.
And then that just became basically like Snapchat and all that stuff.
Kind of they were like the only thing they were fucked up on Vine was like, wasn't Vine like 6 seconds or something?
Yeah. And they made all these celebrities for 6 seconds. It's like so crazy.
But if they just did it 30 seconds, then they would have just been super ahead of the game, I guess.
What are your thoughts that like a lot of these here's my opinion. I think Instagram is trying to be TikTok and they're lying about views.
Instagram's lying about views?
Yes. Because they're trying to do everything TikTok is, and we all know TikTok numbers are completely inflated.
Yeah.
So, because
they've turned it into TikTok essentially.
That's what they want.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they lie about views just like TikTok does to get everybody hooked on Instagram to be like some of these people are getting millions of views, and I'm like, are you selling any tickets on the road?
And they're like, no. But some people are. That's the thing. Some people are selling lots of tickets.
I think it's like long form. You can do really well on Instagram, but you have to have a long form thing that makes people invest into you to come to your live show.
Yeah, some people honestly don't watch long form. Like, dude, my girlfriend, like, she's not watching long form fucking anything. Okay, she likes like 30-second crowd work clips. Like, she's just like, that's what she loves. Okay, okay, we got another caller. One second, Sam. Hello, thanks for calling Low Value Mail.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? Who am I speaking with? Hello.
Hey, it's Martin.
Hey, what's up? You are on with Sam. Go ahead.
Sam. So I got on to the call a little bit in there, and I'm not sure if you guys talked about RFK Jr.
We talked about him. We talked about him briefly. Yeah.
We talked about his HGH nipples.
Dude, he's fucking jacked.
Right, dude?
He's yoked, man. People are like shitting on him too. They're like, oh my God. Like, why wouldn't you, if you were 70 years old, why wouldn't you do that?
Dude, I'm 50. I've been thinking about HGH in it, dude.
I'm fucking not even 40 and I've been thinking about not HGH. Like
I would
TRT.
love age, but you lose your hair and if you have prostate, your problems amplifies it.
Yeah.
But I really want to get shredded, bro. Just hard nipples shredded, dude.
I mean, he's a 70-year-old man. He's probably like in the best.
Good for him, bro.
It's crazy.
Good for him.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. And so he put out a post that, and you guys were just talking about YouTube and the dilemma, and I feel it. There's a few thoughts that I had when I was listening to you guys talk, but so basically they pulled his latest interview. I don't know if you watched that latest interview that he did.
Which one was that? That was the one with Jordan Peterson that they removed?
No.
Oh, they moved
today,
Theo
actually.
Vaughn's too. Like Theo's getting all this shit.
Oh yeah,
now.
Theo. Yeah. They removed Theo's one with him, but no, he had one today that got removed.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it on my Twitter right now. Yeah,
I just think it's becoming
really
undeniable what's going on, and they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. But the question is, do they care?
No,
I mean,
they don't.
At this point, do they care? They've used all these tricks. And all they're going to do is just mail and ballot cheat this fucking thing again. Like at some point, people.
Yeah, here it is. YouTube just pulled. This is from 5 hours ago. Just pulled another of my videos with former New York Post political reporter Al Guart.
And the beauty of his tweet was that he goes, "Yeah, but now you can still watch it on Spotify," which I did, and it was.
Yeah, but the problem is like obviously, we're on Rumble right now, and like yes, you can watch it other places, and like there's always these alternatives. But the fact is, like, YouTube is the biggest search engine in the world. Like, it's bigger than Google. Like, YouTube is considered the #1 search engine in the world. Like, if you want to be like, oh, I don't want to be on YouTube, you're like, fine, don't. But you don't think that there's no, like, repercussions to that? Certainly there are. If you're just pulling off RFK, like, the guy's a presidential candidate. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Like, he's not going to get those
absolutely
views.
Nuts.
Like, Spotify doesn't have an algorithm, right? Like, YouTube, like, he could get 10 million views on one of his podcasts. He's not going to happen on, like... on Spotify. There's no, like, you have to be sending people, your friends, that video, and everybody has to be sending it. It's not just going to happen by people on your app, so.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. It freaking sucks, man. And it's just like trust. I like the whole thing. Like, I don't know if you watch Value Entertainment.
Yeah.
I have a buddy on there, but I really like Patrick Bet David, Vinny Oshana. He's a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
And
I've spoken with him before.
He just had that dude who got caught jerking off on CNN, right?
Toobin?
Yeah. And they like, and you listen to Toobin, like, he is lost in this right-left paradigm. You listen to him talk, like, he doesn't see any, like, he literally said that Biden did not ask for preferential treatment when it came to his son. He didn't ask for it. Did his son get it? He said, yeah, but he's dealing in technicalities, right? We all know it's happening, but it's like unbelievable how like they can just say, hey man, trust the experts, trust the scientists. And then you got somebody like RFK Jr. who's done all the research, and now they label him a crazy person, and they won't even let you listen.
I mean, I won't lie to you. He did lose me on Rogan when he started getting into the Wi-Fi stuff. I don't know how you feel about that. Well, he was just
about
like
6 months away from finding out.
But the thing, I guess the thing is like the Wi-Fi gives you cancer. Well, then I'm just like, well, then I have cancer. Okay,
well,
that's just where we're at.
It's different degrees depending on how close you are.
What he said was that it opens your blood-brain barrier. And so whatever toxins you might have in your body could get into your neural.
But that's what I'm saying. But I understand what he said. But I'm like, we're not going back to not having Wi-Fi.
Listen, Rogan did a wonderful job with that.
Yeah, incredible.
If you had to nitpick, and we're just nitpicking on what maybe let RFK go too deep, like and did like that's why like I think Tinfoil Hat does well. Because I'm fully retarded, I'm functionally illiterate. So I take these complex things, I try to break it down into digestible things that people can understand what's being said. So, Brian, I do a show with Brian Callen called Conspiracy Social Club, and he's had people off from like he used to be Richard, what is Richard's last name? Richard talks about 9/11 and what happened in those buildings. And Brian brings up like, you're not a metal urchin. Is that what it's called? And he got like, why don't you debate a guy like that? And Richard's like, I would debate him, but it's so dense that no one would want to listen to it. And that's basically what everybody's complaining about in that RFK, that it's such dense data that they start getting bored. And it's like, well, this is the data you need to hear.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I will say on the Wi-Fi gives you cancer thing, I think if there was some shit people
5G is
I had do you know who Matt Landman is?
Yes.
He was on the show 2 weeks ago.
Go deep on 5G, dog.
Yeah,
it's not good.
He was really into the chemtrails and the 5G stuff. He was really into
I
that.
love that you have all these people on. That's so great, bro. I didn't know this was a conspiracy podcast. That's great.
Yeah, I've been getting into it. But anyways, caller, anything else?
Well, yeah, so I highly recommend to go on Spotify and watch the Al Gart interview with RFK, because he actually says what he is going to do to big tech. He literally spells it out, and how they take advantage by censoring people and the way they do it. And he literally says that he would take them down. And then what do? They take it down. they take down his image.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I guess if you're them, you're just like probably like he did make a good point too, where he's like, they might not specifically get their marching orders from politicians, but they're so in lockstep with them that they don't even need to. Like they're censoring stuff before they would even be asked to censor stuff. They're like,
there is a woman who has a podcast called the Congressional Dish. You should have her on. She's really great. Jennifer Brini, I think is her last name. I fuck up last name. She's great. She's been on my show a couple times. And she talks about, she reads like the minutes and everything like that. So there's this notion that everyone believes that the Democrats want censorship. No, both sides, want censorship. They both sides. The Republicans are just as much in the censorship as everybody else. So what's super interesting is, so you had this like fake coup that I think Russia just jacked us for cash. This guy that does the Russian equivalent of Blackwater. You remember there was like $6 billion error that just went, $6 billion more went to the Ukraine. Yeah, for this fucking coup that wasn't even a real fucking coup, for civil war, right? It's totally ridiculous. But when you study all the people in Washington, D.C. who were privy to the information about what was going to go on with this coup, it is bipartisan. It's McCarthy, it's Pelosi, it's all the people who are supposedly at war with each other coming together to fucking push this whole thing about trying to start a civil war in Russia. And reality is that guy just jacked all the cash. Now, he'll probably be killed at some point, but he also could have just been playing, hey, man, $2 billion to me, $4 billion to you, Putin. Can we do this? You know?
Yeah. I mean, I feel for Putin though. $2 billion is probably fucking nothing for him. Like, it's so funny. You know, they always put out like the richest people in the world lists or whatever. You're like, dude, he's richer than any of those guys.
Dude,
he has more money than Elon Musk.
Black nobility is richer than all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, they got way more money than any of us. All right, we got a little bit more time left with you. Thank you again. The phone lines are open if anybody wants to call in. 1-888-949-2969, extension 1 or 2. Doesn't really matter. So you're not leaving California. What are your thoughts on California? Someone who's lived there for so long, all the comics. How many comics have left and come back?
A bunch.
A lot, right?
Especially the ones that moved to Nashville. I think they all came back but one.
Really?
Which was Steve Byrne. I think Theo still has a house there, but I think he's out here all the time.
Oh, he's back, yeah.
So they all came back. The only place that they stayed was Austin, because Austin's seen so amazing and the mothership. But at the end, all of them come back. And it's mostly has to do with the weather.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, the weather is unbelievable. It's like I say, man, I love Los Angeles. I hate Hollywood. Okay. San Diego's the shit. Yeah. If I could convince other people to move there, I'd live in San Diego. It's God's country.
Yeah,
it's the best. Amazing. I don't know why anybody lives in these giant cities. The crazy thing is that, you know, they think Gavin Newsom's making a move to try to run for president. It's like unbelievable, bro. How are you going to run for president when we're all watching what's happening to San Francisco? San Francisco was a world-class city. It was the most amazing city. You go there, you'd be like blown away by how culturally amazing. It's falling. It's almost gone.
Yeah.
I
haven't been there in a really long time. I would like to check it out.
Bro, I want to put a fucking wall around it and let everybody who voted for those policies have to stay there and figure it the fuck out. Don't move anywhere else and vote retarded like you want to. You have to stay in San Francisco and figure it the fuck out.
Yeah. I know some Silicon Valley guys who actually, they all moved to Austin.
And now they're rooting Austin.
They all jumped ship. They were just like fucking done with it. All right. We got another call here. 1 second, please. Hello. Thanks for calling Low Value Mail. Who am I speaking with?
Yo, this is McCrinkle.
McCrinkle, 1 second, please. And you are on with Sam. Go ahead, McCrinkle.
Yo, Sam. It's awesome talking to you.
Hi, brother.
You're like a kitchen legend. Like everyone in kitchens loves you.
Thank you, dude.
The kitchen
I'm big
legend,
into
dude.
Yeah,
Dude,
I'll take it,
that's a
bro.
t-shirt right there. Fucking
I'll
kitchen
take that.
legend,
Kitchen
dude.
legend. I'll do
love,
that.
I would love that, man.
Basic
I always
cable superstar.
Dude, I
kitchen
always
legend.
say the best like compliment anybody gives me is whenever they're just like, I work a boring job for 10 hours a day, and you're just like, whatever your shit, I just put it on the background. It gets me like through the day. I'm like,
I love that.
Best
dude.
compliment.
I love it, man. And I do get, people going, hey man, we work here. Everybody listens to you. And it means a lot to me. I take very personal the show. I try my hardest to give you variety and give you the best of the best. So I appreciate you saying that.
Oh yeah. Anyways, go ahead,
I'm
McCrickle.
probably like 1,000 hours in.
Gotta get you a tattoo or something.
So
I
it's a
actually
word,
just moved
dude.
to Austin myself, and it's pretty bad here.
You live in
Yeah,
Austin?
I just moved here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like it's
About to
so
leave
funny.
soon.
Everybody moved to everyone. Oh, we gotta get LA. You moved to Austin. You got homeless people in traffic. Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Now, the comedy, I hear everybody's making hand over fist cash. So I'm like, oh, interesting. And I want to go out there. I'm trying to get out there. I'd like to see all my friends. I just like, dude, I'd rather
It's
move
too
to San
expensive.
Diego.
Everything's sold out.
Yeah. Oh, really? Everything's like, what do you mean? The comedically everything's sold out?
No, the prices, like tickets are gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Apparently the
second they pop
mothership
up.
is like, it's impossible to get tickets. They're sold out way far in advance.
I hear it's like the greatest club ever. So I'd like to go
Yeah, me
out
too.
there. Rogan's my boy. I love him. Hinchcliffe's my boy. Red Band's my boy. I love all those guys. Adam, he gets fucking crushing it out there.
Yeah.
So it's great to see. But I mean, dude, if I could move out, who's got a great
But you got
comedy
the
scene?
ocean
San
there.
Diego. San
Yeah.
Diego, dog. San Diego's got a great comedy scene, dude. So they got 3 comedy clubs right on the same block.
Yeah.
And each one does a different level of comedian. So I'm like, hey, dude, let's fucking go, bro.
Yeah.
I call it White Miami, dude. That's it's either Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or San Diego. That's where I want to move to.
Yeah, I hear you. Anyways, caller, go ahead. What do you want to ask?
Any questions?
Not too many questions, just weather balloons.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's very interesting here. Like, do you got a black belt, bro? In conspiracies, you a black belt?
Oh, yeah, it started with weather balloons with Roswell.
Yeah, it's all, dude. All these balloons are just the satellite balloons. Satellites are on balloons, and everyone thinks I'm crazy. By the way, do you guys know that Google has a deal? They're working with NASA on satellites. Do you know what the name of that program is? Loons, as in balloons. They're putting, dude, all satellites are on balloons. Think about
Like
that.
that's how they get into space, you're saying?
No, they're on balloons. That's how they float.
All the Starlings float in a line.
That's how they float. They
Interesting.
float on balloons. They're not floating in space. Why wouldn't they just drift out to fucking shit? And then this is a whole thing where they just want you to try to fucking they give you these things that makes no sense to you. But this one time, like when you talk about how does a fucking a building built to take 3 planes hit it suddenly just dustify, right? Oh, well, it's this and it's that. They just want you to do this mental gymnastics on how supposedly a bunch of guys who came from fucking huts in the Middle East somehow were able to do the greatest aviation feat of all time. Okay. Gotcha. They just want you to believe bullshit. So that's what these balloons are. These balloons are showing up. These are satellite balloons.
Yeah, satellite. Interesting.
Well,
We
thank
lost
you. I'm going to
Danny.
go.
No. That's the first.
We lost Danny.
No, I'm still here. All right, thanks, caller. Oh, all right, we got another caller here. 1 second, please. Hold on a second. Hello.
Hello, Danny. How are you doing?
Yo, what's up, format? 1 second, please. All right, you are on with Sam Tripoli. Go ahead.
Sick. Yo, dude, thanks for bringing out Sam. I didn't know he was such a firebrand with all these.
Sam's the
correct
dog, dude.
opinions.
Sam's like the fucking OG. Sam is the dog.
That was real. I've heard his name. I didn't know what he's all about, but yeah, dude, tell him I'm gonna check out some more of your work.
Thank you,
I'm
brother.
glad to hear what shit you got to
How's
say.
Canada?
Yeah. So I just wanted to point
No
out
comment.
because, So wait, what about Canada?
He asked how Canada is, and you just kind of glossed over it. You're like, I don't want it.
Canada's cool. I mean,
you just there's a new mayor. Are you in Toronto?
The new mayor in Canada?
No, in Toronto.
I don't know, dude. I don't pay attention to none of that.
Oh, okay.
I respect that, bro. Well, are you from Toronto, Danny?
Yeah, I'm from just outside of Toronto.
I love Toronto. Toronto is what I believe humanity is capable of.
Toronto.
If you didn't have every 50 cents of every dollar going to the military-industrial complex.
Yeah. Instead, they just go to drag queens in Toronto. Anyways, format. Go ahead.
It's great. I love Toronto, but I wish it wasn't such a Nazi shithole.
Yeah.
Anyway, so fucking I just wanted to point out a little bit about like the way you, Danny, knock all of that 5G stuff like real quick, and I'm just thinking, like if you,
I would like to make a distinction. I didn't knock the 5G stuff. I just said with the Wi-Fi stuff specifically that in the event that is causing us cancer, we just are fucked. Because I don't think we're going to go to not having Wi-Fi.
Well, I think it's not like it's an an easy bake oven where it's like you just hit you and then suddenly you grow cancer. This is over slow
like over
time
30 years
to
or something.
affect you, and this is a big, like, you can get into. I don't know how many people you've talked about the notion of the coronavirus and how like there's FDA papers which states for facts that the CDC never isolated the virus, that they never isolated the virus. And that people can call me crazy, but it's just the guy who invented the fucking test, the PCR test, wanted to debate Fauci about HIV. They never isolated it. Ever. So you get into what's causing it. Well, if you look at all these plagues that happen, they all happen right around when a new technology is introduced, like electricity and wiring. Like when that happened, everyone got really fucking sick because we have our basic bodies is a giant electric system, and these things fucking affect us. But this is the deep shit. I mean, when you go viruses don't exist, people, what's your first thought? Oh, he's a retard. Okay, after that, like if we look into a microscope, what do we see? Like if you believe in viruses and I don't believe in viruses, do we see something different? No, we see the exact same thing, and it's called an exosome. That's what it is, an exosome. And that's, you get into it. And even Pasteur, who when he died on his deathbed, which is, I start writing down your deathbed quote because people will quote you when you die. You got to say something fucking cool, like life ain't nothing about hoes and bitches, right? Or something like that, right? But he said that basically terrain theory was correct and he got germ theory wrong. Yeah. So, I mean, people don't want to talk about that. I'm just telling you, it's crazy ass shit.
Huh.
You're on some real shit right now. This actually reminds me of a video I sent Danny not too long ago on Patreon. And before I get into that, Denny, if you don't upload this episode on YouTube, I can go ahead and talk about everything I want to say right now.
Go talk about it. Go talk about whatever you want to talk about. This, I honestly, YouTube hasn't been an issue with full episodes. It's only been an issue with clips for some reason. Not that, I mean, who knows? Maybe that's famous last words. But anyways.
Well, while you're off YouTube, we can go a little.
We're not on YouTube now, so go ahead.
Sick. Let's do it. So so the video I sent you, because Sam just brought up a little bit of that. He mentioned the inventor of the PCR test, Kerry Mullis. Like all of this shit, like all of this Corona shit that's going on right now, it's the same exact fucking thing happened in the 80s, right? Like everything with AIDS, like fucking word for word, like exactly what's going on right now. All of these same debates. There's the video I sent you. It's a video of I forget the guy's name right now. It's a video of a doctor who injects himself with HIV positive blood.
Yeah, dude, you ever seen that?
No, but we're gonna watch it in the after show. That's for damn sure.
It's so sick, dude. So the guy comes out there and he's like, okay, here's the deal. HIV does not cause AIDS. What actually causes AIDS is all of this fucking HIV medicine or AIDS medicine. And if you
AZT. No,
literally,
here's what it does. So what basically happens is if you study what AIDS is, it's autoimmune deficiency. Okay. Deficiency. That means your immune system is deficient. That means when they test your blood cells, your blood, you don't have enough white blood cells. That's what it is. So you go, I'm gay, I'm into this lifestyle. They test you. You have low blood cells because you've been banging speed and doing poppers. And that you're up for days. Your immune system's compromised. So they test you. And you go out, you're like, hey, dude, you got HIV. That's what they're telling you, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what that guy says. He talks about like this and that fucks up your immune system, and specifically poppers, right? And I guess gay folk like to do poppers a lot, so it makes sense that a lot of them would be immunocompromised. Because, whatever poppers.
I mean, I tried to buy poppers in New York City this weekend. Anecdotally, couldn't find them anywhere. So
what do you mean? Just go to a fucking adult bookstore.
It was Pride weekend.
I'm trying. Oh yeah, sold out. So fun.
Right. So, but yeah. So just to tie it all together. So with the AIDS epidemic, there was this whole confusion. Nobody really wanted you to know the real difference between HIV and AIDS. It was just pretty much all the same thing. People didn't really know exactly. People who are not paying attention did not know exactly what's fucking them up. In the same way that right now, there's been this whole push to confuse COVID and SARS-CoV-2, because what happened? It was so crazy that I even remember there was all kinds of commercials, all kinds of shit on TV was calling SARS-CoV-2 COVID, and they're completely separate things, right? So there was a Lysol commercial that was saying Lysol kills COVID. It kills COVID on kills surfaces or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck? Do these guys not even know what the fuck they're talking about? And then eventually they retracted that. They made they made an identical commercial that was saying it kills SARS-CoV-2 on surfaces, and that's really important to point out for anyone that likes to talk about COVID and SARS-CoV-2. SARS-CoV-2 is the virus. COVID is just a set of symptoms that can be caused by a fucking massive plethora of things. So yeah, if you're talking about someone dying from all of this crazy shit, just point out that it's specifically that they're dying from the COVID set of symptoms. They're not dying from SARS-CoV-2. Anyway, so that's just something to keep in mind for anyone who's not familiar with the right terminology. But my original point was about all this 5G stuff, and I mean it does kind of tie in, because much in the same way how some people they think that they're not anti-vax, they're just anti-vax with all of the COVID vaccines. And
no, dude, nope. I'm anti-vax, all that shit. I just think all the way, dude.
I mean, even RFK, because everybody's like, you're an anti-vax. He's like, no, I'm not. He's trying to skirt that. Yeah. But he's trying to skirt that line because essentially with, well, because he wants to be the president.
Because there's just a bunch of people that don't want to come to grips with that they've been lied to. And this whole thing with science. And so it's so interesting how many atheists are on the left, right? And they laugh at people who believe in God. Where's the evidence? Yet they love to have faith in science when they don't even read any of the studies. They don't even read who's funding the studies. And most of it's Bill Gates. So it's unbelievable that people trust these giant corporations that have been busted lying and hurting people over and over again, because they just don't want to have to think. And they think being into conspiracies is a very exhausting thing. It's not, because once you understand everything, you see it as it plays out. You don't even have to think about it, because they're fucking unoriginal. COVID was just AIDS all over again. They killed everybody. They made you think they made you think it was these fucking breathing tubes. But reality, it was remdesivir. They were fucking nailing people with remdesivir, super toxic remdesivir, so that the death count will go up. And now they've diluted the remdesivir. So now you get it doesn't kill you like it used to. But they wanted those numbers up so people would freak the fuck out.
Yeah. There's so many layers. But yeah. So what I was getting at is with the way that, and because Denny or whoever mentioned, RFK is not that against all the vaccines. Maybe he says that he's not, like a full-on like anti-vaxxer against.
I mean, he has
vaccines.
to say that he's running for president as a Democrat.
But if you ask him about, but then if you ask him about like if you were to just sit down with him and have a long talk and go over every fucking single vaccine in existence, he would give you the breakdown of why exactly that shit is bad for you, and you would be way better off not having it. And that comes from just a whole lot of, doing your homework, a whole lot of research, once people get familiar with what the problems with the COVID vaccines are, they're like, okay, well, those are bullshit, but the rest of them, I'm fine with it. But they haven't done none of the fucking research into it.
None of it.
People to this day love to claim that, no, vaccines are great because A, B, and C, and usually A is one of the, it's something like polio. We got rid of polio with vaccines. Bitch, polio disappeared after we got rid of DDT. Right, the fucking DDT, no bugs on me.
They introduced the polio vaccine after polio had already left.
Yeah. Polio started disappearing the moment they stopped using that.
Polio. Sorry, that's a game on horses.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that that DDT was related to the polio vaccine, or at least to polio.
Yeah, and the more you do that with every single vaccine you run into, you realize, oh shit, no, it's not really that good. I don't know which vaccines are out there are like actually worth taking, but I would be like, before I insert anything in my body, I would do the research that I did.
Man, it's so funny. I went to Asia like 15 years ago or something, and to go there, they're like, you got to take all these vaccines. And I didn't even think twice. I just took fucking 10 vaccines.
Oh, it's just not good, dude.
Yeah,
not good.
I mean, I think I was fine from it. I ended up getting dengue fever. So
you probably have full-blown AIDS.
All right, format. Anything else?
Yeah. So
okay.
The main point about worrying about 5G and whatnot is like to trust people. Before knocking it, I know you're not like fully knocking it, but you're kind of saying that RFK, he lost you a little bit there because he started going hard on the 5G. And while I agree that we're not getting rid of all the 5G towers everywhere, but that's not to say that they're harmless. There's all kinds of evidence that shows that they're real fucked up. Like there was one of the many cases is like they installed a 5G tower near a school full of kids, and then like these fucking like 13-year-old kids start coming down with bone marrow cancer like left and right until
really
the parents were like shut down, and they had to shut it down because all of a sudden all of these fucking kids, one after the other, bone marrow cancer at the fucking ripe age of fucking 13, 12, 11 and whatever, completely shouldn't be happening. So anyways, shit like that is out there. But even the crazy story that you probably want to check out is there was so in Australia there's a company called Telstra. It's like an internet company or whatever. They post the 4G and 5G towers everywhere, and they had an employee who was fighting for a long time against them putting these towers everywhere because this is a guy that works for them who gets to see all of these warnings about what is a safe level of radiation, what is not. And he was like, all of these towers they're putting are so way over the levels that in their own fucking documentation says this is dangerous, that you're not supposed to be around this shit.
And they
he
just
got real
and they
pissed
just
off.
yeah, and he got sick.
So, did you say fixed?
No. What happened to him? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So he was going from place to place, like trying to get them to stop. Until in court, they basically said that on a national level, he's not allowed to sue them. He's not allowed to change all of these policies of installing these towers. And they basically said, so you're just going to have to deal with it yourself on a local scale, local level. Just deal with it in your own community. And that's basically what he said. He's like, and after they told me that, I did. So the guy goes and gets a tank and rides over tower after tower after tower in his town, just fucking.
I remember hearing about that guy who ran over he's the guy who got a tank.
No. This is a different guy, right? The guy who ran over a tank went through City Hall and all that. You're talking about a guy just started running, crashing it, and taking down 5G towers.
5G? No, I think there were 4G towers. This happened, I think, in like 97 or 2004, something like that, around that era. Sometime between the 90s and the. All
right. Well, we're gonna look it up on the after show. We'll see if we can find that, because that's if a guy was just one got his hands on a tank and then two was just running over tower after tower. That's
respect.
Yeah. All right, Format. Thanks, dude.
Peace.
All right, that was Format. All right, we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. Anything else you wanted to talk about, Sam?
No,
anything? No,
good, man. I had a great time. Love to be back.
I appreciate you very much.
Show.
Yeah, I appreciate you very much coming on the show. This was a banger of an episode. Tell people where they can find you.
Let's go to samtripoli.com. Sam Tripoli on Instagram. Sam Tripoli on YouTube. Check out Broken Sim. It's probably my favorite podcast. I mean, I love Tinfoil Hat and Conspiracy Social Club. Broken Sim is like my personal challenge to see if I could come up with enough crazy stories for a whole week. Just live them. It's a Grand Theft Auto podcasting. So go check that out. And I got my specials on samtripoli.com. I have 3 specials. I'm going to shoot a new one very soon. Just trying to burn everything down. So thank you for having me on, Danny.
Dude,
you're so fucking funny.
Dude,
you're
thank you for coming on.
Guys on the internet.
Dude, you're the guy who I wanted to get when I've been doing this format for about 6 months, and you were the guy that I wanted to have on. So
thank you. Anytime, all the time, buddy. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it very much. All right, everybody, we're going to start the after show in about 15 minutes. Stick around. It's going to be on this link here. And I will see you. We're going to watch some videos and just look at some weird shit. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.